All right, testing time. It's time to test.
Do you remember when Shrek the Third completely ruined Immigrant Song?
And then went straight into a bad cover of Barracuda?
Yep.
Stefan, did you hear the big news this week?
The political situation in Hong Kong is destabilized to the point that massive protests are going on in the streets?
No.
Indie game developers are being accused of sexual assault and it's basically restarting Gamergate?
No.
Oliver's staring at that door and he looks very morose and you could probably make a black and white picture out of it?
No. We're on iTunes and Spotify now.
Oh! That was actually going to be my next guess.
Yeah, speaking of bleak and depressing things.
Does that mean we can't say anymore?
Not unless I have to mark it as explicit.
Oh, well then we're fine.
Should we do a profanity-free episode, Stefan?
No, we're too late. I already said
I can cut it out. You ready? You ready for this, Stefan? You ready for this? You ready for this? You ready for this?
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to Sequel Decay. I'm Chris.
Welcome to Sequel Decay.
And this is Stefan.
Hi, I'm here.
Welcome back to the show. It's been a while.
It's been 1 week.
And we're going to talk about Disney again.
Kinda, yeah. I mean, in a roundabout way. I wish we could not talk about Disney. I think next week is the first week in a super long time we're not going to mention Disney once, probably.
I'll find a way to shoehorn it in.
Oh, probably. Yeah. We got to get that sweet, sweet money. That sweet Disney monetization.
Okay, so before we start, I guess we should talk about the big news. So we decided that SoundCloud is expensive and we don't have money, and we
sure don't.
We were told about Anchor, a podcast hosting server, which is absolutely free, and surprisingly enough, there has yet to be a catch so far.
Mm-hmm.
So we are now on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Podcasts.
Yep. As well as YouTube.
The YouTube channel is staying for now. I don't know if we have any plans for it later.
Yeah, but we figure it's better to keep it up than to just delete it as a reactionary move.
Yeah, because that would be kind of dumb, and also that might potentially alienate audiences. So whether you're listening to this on YouTube or if you're listening to our offensive rants on the go, yeah.
Perhaps download it on your phone. Thanks to the wonders of Spotify Premium, who are not sponsoring us. Get fucked, Spotify Premium.
Couldn't even last a fucking minute, man. Oh, fuck.
So we had originally planned to go this episode without swearing. Well, you see how well that turned out.
About, 2 minutes?
Not even, really. Shit. Well, we're beyond editing it out. Let's just dive right in.
Let's just jump into it.
So, I think the franchise we're covering today is, it's memified to the point that it's kind of unfortunate that it has been.
It's memified to the point where I think it's gone past, familiar household name to now just iconic.
Yeah, iconic, but ironically iconic, I guess.
Yeah, so it's iconic.
Yeah, which
sounds like a weed thing.
Yeah, it really does. It sounds like one of those, knockoff shirts that you would buy in Cancun or something.
Oh, yeah.
That is, instead of, it's like an Apple shirt, but instead of the apple, it's just a pot leaf. And basically, whoever wears that shirt, you want to shoot them. It sounds like one of those.
Should really take off the shirt, then.
You motherfucker. Anyway, the memification of this franchise has led to its critical undervaluing, I think.
Yeah.
Which is kind of unfortunate because, a couple of the movies in it, at least, are quite good.
I would say more than quite good. I'd say wonderful.
I would probably agree with that.
Yeah, so what are we talking about, Stefan?
Just took a swig of root beer that threatened to choke the life out of me.
This episode's brought to you by root beer.
Just the concept of root beer. This episode of Sequel Decay is brought to you by Entropy. We are talking about Shrek.
Who's that fucking around in me swamp?
That's not quite what he sounds like. I think that's a better Scottish accent than Mike Myers. If you had a chance to shag an ogre, would you?
Anyway, so we are going to talk about Shrek.
Yeah, and I
love Shrek.
Yeah, I love Shrek too, legitimately.
There's
setting aside all the Shrek is love, Shrek is life bullshit.
We're not going to talk about
which
that.
Which we're not going to talk about.
We're not. No. If you don't know what Shrek is love, Shrek is life is,
maybe don't look it up.
Don't look it up. But if you're really that curious, it's not going to hurt you that badly.
Uh huh. Well,
and if you play this whole episode backwards, we actually describe it in viciously graphic detail for 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Also, there's a lot of chanting and like audible incense burning and a goat being sacrificed and Oliver ascending to dark god status.
It's enough of you today.
All right, see ya.
I honestly think it's gonna be easier to split this in half
Yeah,
between like the first two and the last two.
the good ones and the bad ones.
Basically, yeah, because I think there's like a huge discernible difference between the two different halves of the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
That I think maybe just talking about them as one thing is going to be kind of interesting.
That's true.
So, why don't you tell those who lived under a rock what Shrek is?
Okay, so Shrek is probably DreamWorks Animation's biggest franchise at this point, right?
I mean,
I
you
think
know
the only rival is the Dragons franchise.
Well, you know the music that plays during like every DreamWorks logo you'll ever see?
Yeah,
that's the Shrek music.
Yeah, it is.
So, as you can tell, Shrek's the mascot.
Yeah, and it's based on a book by William Steig.
Who the hell is
How you
that?
say it? He was a children's book author. He is unfortunately passed away now, but he wrote a book called Shrek with an exclamation point. I have read it. I read it a very long time ago. I was very young, but it came out in 1990, and it's about an ogre who saves a princess who is also, spoiler alert, an ogre, and with the help of a donkey, and the movies are very loosely based off of that premise.
Yeah.
Well, the first one follows that almost exactly, but obviously it adds more than like a whatever fucking 20-page children's book can have.
Oh, it's only 20 pages.
It's a very short book. Like, it's not a novel, or even a young adult, or even like a children's novel. It's a short book. It's like a storybook, essentially.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cute.
But it was very gritty and, I mean, not adult-oriented, obviously. It's for little kids.
All right, Tommy, get ready to hear about how Shrek...
You said we weren't gonna mention it, you fuck.
Should I bleep it?
Yeah. Tommy, you've been a good boy today. So, before you go to sleep, we're gonna sit down and read chapter 8. Donkey murders his oxycodone dealer.
Chapter 9. Puss in Boots decides to end his 9th life. It just turns into fucking Requiem for a Dream out of nowhere.
I mean, no, I'm surprised these movies didn't reference Requiem for a Dream, honestly.
Yeah, considering they reference literally everything else.
Yeah. Anyway, Steven Spielberg actually bought the rights.
Yes.
To make the movie.
And it was going to be 2D animated, wasn't it?
It was going to be 2D animated. But John H. Williams, the film producer at DreamWorks, I believe, kind of persuaded him to like just transfer it over to DreamWorks, which Spielberg was a co-founder of.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeffrey Katzenberg kind of took it over. He's credited as a producer on the first movie.
Jeffrey Katzenberg was someone we talked about 3 weeks ago.
Yes, we'll get back to him because he's very his influence is palpable in the first movie. It's notable in the sense that, like, okay, well, we can probably talk about that now.
Yeah.
So Shrek takes a lot of tropes that are noticeable in fairy tales, like the main story is a hero who goes to save a princess on a noble steed or whatever.
Yeah.
And kind of makes a lot of alterations to that. Like, the hero in this case is not a brave, sexually androgynous knight, but a ogre. A massive, ugly ogre voiced by Mike Myers with a Scottish accent that is nowhere near as thick as any Scottish person that I've heard in real life, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And he, instead of a noble steed, it's a donkey voiced by Eddie Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
And the princess is, spoiler alert, also an ogre,
Mm-hmm.
who is a human by day and ogre by night because of a curse.
Yep. That can only be broken by true love's first kiss.
Yep. Also borrows a lot of imagery from not only just fairy tales in general, but like straight up Disney movies.
Oh, yeah. Well, because Disney took a lot of those tropes as well and just kind of made it their own.
Yeah, Disney took a lot of tropes, and then because of that, it's usually like kind of insinuated that this movie is kind of a take that from Katzenberg to Disney, who are his former employers.
Specifically
Eisner, like Lord Farquaad, the main villain, is
supposedly
modeled after Michael Eisner.
Yeah.
He's not represented very favorably, obviously.
No.
And his castle, his kingdom, his princedom, or whatever the fuck of Duloc
is like this. It's supposedly like Disneyland.
Yeah, it's like a Potemkin city with a lot of references to the hollow nature of Disneyland,
including the fucking Duloc song being basically It's a Small World.
Exactly. So read into that whatever you will.
Yes,
I think it's pretty fair to assume that it was very
going after Disney.
It was a jab.
Yeah,
that's what I think anyway. Anyway, back to like the actual development of the movie. Shrek himself. There were actually two people that were gonna voice him before Mike Myers. One was Chris Farley, but before that, Nicolas Cage. He was.
What the fuck is wrong with that?
I know, that was my reaction.
Donkey. I'm gonna go up to Lord Farquaad. I'm gonna take his face off. Donkey, we're gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
Ogres are like onions.
Don't you get it, Donkey? A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
He was the first person offered the role of Shrek. He did not take it because
no shit. I wonder why.
Yeah. Actually, in 2013, he explained, "When you're drawing it away, it says more about how children are going to see you than anything else, and I so care about that." I don't know what that means. Do you? I don't know any. I can't explain him. He's a beautiful human being.
I love him so much.
So then, obviously, like you mentioned, the next person that did accept the role of Shrek was Chris Farley.
They actually recorded lines,
and they recorded most of his lines.
Yeah, I want to say almost all of it.
Yeah, almost all of it. Unfortunately, Chris Farley died.
Yes.
So they had to replace, because he had almost completed, but he still hadn't completely completed. So they got Mike Myers, who wanted a complete rewrite of the movie to erase all traces of Chris Farley.
Yeah.
Which, fair enough.
But
and then they tried a bunch of accents, and they settled on a Scottish one that...
they settled on that at the last second, too.
Yeah, it was relatively late into production. Which was apparently modeled after an accent that his mom used to read to him in when she was reading like fairy tales and stuff to him.
Oh, you read IMDb too?
Yeah, thank you.
Hey.
We're hacks. It's also a meme, like many things about this franchise.
Donkey!
But if you look at it in the vacuum of the movies, it gives him a lot of character. Like,
yeah,
it gives him a voice like better than like if he had just done his like regular voice, or probably even more so than Chris Farley would have had. I think
so. Yeah.
He gives him a lot of for fuck's sake layers to the character. He's a
you know what else has layers?
Oh, shut up.
Onions.
Shut up. He's a legitimately well-written character, I think. And
yeah. I think every character in this is legitimately well-written.
What do you think of Princess Fiona? Because I think she's probably the weakest character.
Well, I think she's the weakest character. The biggest issue with her, though, is that it feels like they're trying too hard to subvert that trope.
Yeah, it's like, but what if princess, but karate? So, my like I said, my issue with Princess Fiona is that, like, she's not a bad character, I would say, but, like, she starts off as stereotypical princess fare, and then she's, like, a foil for Shrek to, like, wink at the audience and be like, look at how subversive I am! And then, that's basically the entire castle scene. And it's funny, don't get me wrong, but...
like, the entire castle scene is, like, and I think I just told you that when we were talking, like...
Yeah, and then when she, like, lightens up, she goes straight from that into... princess, but cool, and then princess, but knows karate, and then, she's an ogre, and it kind of stops there.
Yeah. I wish they gave her a little bit more depth as a character.
Yeah, I think you get
I think she's likable and enjoyable enough, but I think a lot of that comes from the performance, too.
Yeah, Cameron Diaz is, like, good at, like, giving her... She has a lot of personality for a character that kind of, like, alternates between, like, very... kind of bouncy and dramatic at the beginning, and then like more morose later as the movie goes along, or more dramatic at least.
Yeah.
I think they gave her a bit more character in Shrek 2.
Yeah.
We can get to that, but this was also like kind of started a trend, or I don't know if it started, but it kind of like popularized a trend in animated movies of just like kind of filling it with celebrities, which isn't to say that like
not only filling it with celebrities, but also pop songs.
Oh, pop songs and pop culture references, absolutely.
Yes, like, so I'm gonna have a little bit to say about Peaks DreamWorks, which is this and Shrek 2, as well as everything that came after Shrek 2 before How to Train Your Dragon. That was kind of rough.
Yeah. Shit like, what, Over the Hedge, Shark Tale? Or, I guess that was more before Shrek 2.
No, Shark Tale came after.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay, then...
Shark Tale came right after.
Okay, so, like,
Shark Tale, Over the Hedge. I like Flushed Away a lot.
Flushed Away is pretty good.
And same with Wallace. Anything from Aardman does not count in this discussion.
No. Because it's good.
Yeah, because it's actually, quite solid. Yeah, the Bee Movie, which I cannot believe some fucking executive was like, hey, what if we made a cute little movie about bees for children, but also it's going to be Jerry Seinfeld's follow-up to Seinfeld? What?
Also, the bee fucks Renee Zellweger.
What? Also, they're going to sue someone over Ray Liotta honey. What? What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Oh, Madagascar.
Oh, right. Madagascar was pretty big.
Monsters vs. Aliens. I'm ignoring the Kung Fu Panda franchise, even though that's got some of the DreamWorks issues. DreamWorks quirks, if you will. Mm-hmm. But they're good movies. Mm-hmm. Like, we're talking about, like, the bad DreamWorks movies that just overly relied on, like, fucking pop songs and shit. And they were terrible.
Yeah. Basically we're kind of talking between, like, the broad expanse of movies between Shrek 2 and, I guess, How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
Aside from, like, the few that were, like, legitimately good movies, and there are some of them in there, like, a lot of them are,
Aardman films, for sure.
Yeah, Aardman films, or if they were, like, DreamWorks Animations movies, just kind of weird and bad.
Yeah.
They're trying to capture this aesthetic of being, like, the anti-Disney.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're edgy and subversive, and we don't take no guff from nobody.
We don't give a flying F, you know?
We don't give a hack about the mouse. And, like, the thing they forgot is that Disney also makes usually pretty good movies.
Yeah.
They forgot that part.
Yeah, like, Disney's at least consistent.
Yeah.
From Shrek 2 and on, they were absolutely not consistent.
Yeah, they were the opposite of consistent,
They were actually consistently terrible.
Yeah. Shrek is kind of the genesis of that trend, like, good a movie as it is. Because you've got this, like, star-filled cast filled with characters that were, like, obviously cast for the celebrity and not so much because they necessarily fit the role. It did work pretty well in this movie.
They got lucky.
But, yeah. But it wouldn't in most movies that followed. Like you said, it got the pop songs, which are, like, just all over the place to the point where they're, like, kind of jarring, but it did become, like, a staple of the franchise.
Yeah.
And it did teach me who the Buzzcocks were in the second movie, so credit to that.
I mean, there's also that moment where Eddie Murphy is singing The Monkees at the end of Shrek 1.
Oh, yeah, that was a lot of fun, actually.
Was awful.
It was awful, but
I hate every ending of every Shrek movie, at least 1 through 3. Because I don't remember if 4 actually has
it does. It's bad.
Okay, so I hate every ending of every Shrek movie because they all end with the same fucking song and dance number idea.
Yeah.
And it annoys me every single time.
The second one, like pretty much everything else in Shrek, is the one that was least annoying to me.
It was really annoying in Shrek 2 for me. Like,
I mean, it was still annoying. It was
like, I want to say, like, the climax of Shrek 2 was, like, the weakest part of that movie.
I had fun throughout.
I had most fun, and then, like, oh, we're gonna shove in a song from Footloose, and...
They did do that.
They did do that. And then we're gonna have Donkey and Puss in Boots do a duet of,
the Ricky Martin song?
Yeah, what's it called again?
Livin' La Vida Loca.
There we go.
Yeah, it's like, I think the songs are where it gets, like, most grating to me.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Even in the first one, even in the second one, like, it's like, this is so fucking annoying.
What kid is gonna clap along to the Monkees? Come the fuck on.
Yeah. I mean, at least the Monkees is, like, a fun, bouncy song. Like, what fucking kid is gonna bounce around to
Holding Out for a Hero?
Holding Out for a Hero, or, that weird bastardization of Immigrant song they do in the third one.
Or that terrible Donkey cover of Cats in the Cradle.
Or Try a Little Tenderness. Oh yeah, that one's a hit with the kids.
Oh yeah, and Barracuda.
Yeah.
Actually, I guess Guitar Hero 3 wasn't that on Guitar Hero 3?
It was on one of the Guitar Hero Rock Band games.
So I'm pretty sure they got lucky with that one.
But,
yeah. Again, they got lucky.
Yeah. And obviously a lot of pop culture references, and a lot of the humor in the franchise, and like it's more smoothly integrated into the second one, I think. But it's like,
I think so.
What if modern day thing, but fairy tale?
Yeah, like in the first 10 minutes of Shrek 2 alone, there's references to Lord of the Rings and Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's shit that like should not make sense, but like it's just kind of it's the show's shtick.
Yeah.
One of my favorite instances is at the beginning of Shrek 2 when they have the little procession who play trumpet for them.
Oh,
and they play this, like, medieval theme, and then one of them just starts playing Surfin' USA. That was actually really fucking funny.
That one's funny, yeah.
There's the, in Shrek 2, there's also the cops.
Yes, Knights.
I especially like when Puss in Boots called the Knights the capitalist pig dogs.
Yeah.
and then one of them gets pepper sprayed.
It was Shrek.
Yeah, it was Shrek.
Shrek gets, like, literal pepper, too.
Yeah. So... and again, all these are, like, all like aspects of this era of DreamWorks movies. Like before that, the movies that had come before, not including the Aardman ones, were Ants, which also had a lot of celebrities actually,
including Woody Allen.
Ugh. Prince of Egypt and Road to El Dorado, which had elements of these, but like they didn't really mesh together this whole package.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when it's most commercially successful, and where it's both at its best and within the same franchise, its worst. So it's interesting in that sense.
I think Shrek was probably the most critically revered, like the first one.
The first one is probably... its reception is probably a little bit better than the second one, even though I personally prefer the second one.
I prefer the second one too, but I really enjoyed the first one.
It's a really great movie. It's one of the movies I've seen most in my life, I think.
Actually, I haven't seen it in such a long time, so coming back to it was just like, holy shit, this is so funny. The fucking line of dialogue. This is also something that DreamWorks is very well known for. Having dumb kid humor. And just like little sprinkles, they're blatant sprinkles.
Yeah.
Little sprinkles of adult humor.
Yeah.
That the parents will latch onto and go, ha ha! Because there's a lot of moments in like the first one. Like there was this great scene in Shrek 1 when they're doing like the Bachelorette or the fucking dating game parody.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're talking about Snow White. She lives with 7 guys, but she ain't easy. Like, what the fuck was that? Like, Jesus H. So... I guess we've been kind of talking about Shrek 1 and 2 kind of in a mesh. I guess all of them really in a mesh.
Yeah.
But what makes Shrek 1 and 2 so special?
I think what Shrek 1 would like to be remembered, the movie would like to be remembered as is something that's very, like, subversive of all these Disney fairy tale tropes.
Yeah.
And I think we have differing opinions on how much it achieved that.
Kind of. I think it kind of achieves it. I think it achieves it about as much as Deadpool achieves subversiveness. You know what I mean?
Like, I think that's what it's going for, definitely.
Yeah, like...
obviously less R-rated, but...
obviously, yeah, much less R-rated, but, like, that kind of Deadpool style, like, this came out first, we know, but, you know, Deadpool comes first to your mind. Yeah. So, obviously that Deadpool style of, like, we're just gonna twist some shit around here and there, and we're gonna call that subversion, call it a day.
Mm-hmm. And I agree that's what, like, they did, and that's what, they're hoping that, like... but I don't think that's, subversion necessarily, or if it is, it's not really a meaningful subversion.
No, I don't think it's a meaningful subversion. I think it's more just, in the case of Shrek, I think again it's very petty.
It's petty. Yeah, you're right. But also it's like more cosmetic than anything.
Yeah.
Like, Princess Fiona blows up a bird with her Snow White singing.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but what does any of this tell us about like Disney movies or fairy tale tropes as a whole? And it doesn't really tell us anything.
No, I think its subversion is very empty. Yeah. Some of it's clever. Some of it's like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
But it's very empty.
Yeah.
Like, when I kept telling you it was subversive, I didn't mean it in like oh, this movie is so smart. I mean it in it's subverting tropes.
It was so subversive, I dropped my monocle into my Mountain Dew. Ultimately, I think like this kind of like blatant cynicism is the worst thing I can say about the movie.
And I still think it works.
It mostly works. It's nothing that like I didn't come out saying like, oh, this is offensive to me or anything. I
don't think it's as cynical as like, say The Boys.
Yeah, to rehash that argument, it's definitely not as cynical as The Boys.
It's not as cynical. I've seen much more cynical things than this. Like, it's cynical for a kid's movie, but I think it's still cynical, but it also has a lot of heart to it, and it has a lot of things it actually does want to say. And I think that's what keeps it afloat.
It's just the, like, subversion of fairy tale stuff is, like, the least interesting thing it has on its mind.
Yeah.
Or
like,
among
I think
the least interesting things.
Yeah, like, I think the most interesting stuff it has on its mind is, like, thematic stuff.
Yeah. You do kind of get that, reverse Beauty and the Beast dynamic that
yes.
you're talking about.
Yeah. I was talking to you, and I said, like, they just really inverted Beauty and the Beast, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I wish I could say better things about Shrek and Fiona's dynamic, because ultimately, like, it's kind of typical. And they do the whole thing where, like, Shrek misunderstands something that Fiona was saying, and that, like, basically, like,
kicks off third act.
Yeah, kicks off the third, or, like, just pushes the movie into the third act so that it can happen, and that's kind of whatever, but, like, it's not the worst example of it I've seen.
No, and I mean, like, and I think it plays on a lot of the themes of Beauty and the Beast really, really well. Shrek 2 is much smarter to me, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think Shrek 2 can be read in a lot of different ways. Like, it can be read as a coming out to your parents story. It can be read as a story about racism. It can be read as a cautionary tale about, corporations being your friend. In terms of the fairy godmother. Like, it's got a lot going for it.
Yeah.
And it's really fucking clever, and I like Shrek 2 a lot more.
Same. But and I think some of those elements are there in this one. It's just not as cleanly integrated.
Yeah.
I think.
I definitely think the anti-corporate shit is absolutely in Shrek 1.
Yes, and we
yes.
Well, let's talk about that real quick, actually, because Duloc is fucking hilarious. It's like, well, first Shrek makes a dick joke at the beginning. So
that was great. That was a really good joke too. Like, oh, that's his castle. Must be compensating for something.
Then Donkey just kind of walks by silently. And then there's this fucking freaky guy in, like, the oversized mascot thing who just, like, runs into a wall. And then you enter. There's just this Potemkin City fucking ghost village. And this elevator music plays.
And then they open the thing.
Yeah.
They put the coin in whatever, and the song plays.
Yeah.
And it's terrific.
Yeah. just watch the movie. But it's
okay, during that scene where they're playing the song and they got the little puppets singing and whatever, my eye was on the one that was in jail.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Like, the entire fucking he was on every time he was in the frame, it was like, all right, well, I'm watching you because you're fucking hilarious. It's a strange little movie.
It's a very strange part in a strange movie, because it's, like, actually this, like, kind of very smart little criticism of Disney and Disneyland. Which I think is the smartest this, like, the movie's jabs at Disney are. And
that's why it's the most remembered.
And speaking of jabs at Disney, Lord Farquaad is also there. He's allegedly an XP of Michael Eisner. He's about, like, 3 feet tall? 4 feet tall, maybe. A standard bearer for the old adage of men who are under 6 feet should kill themselves. And I do include me in that description.
And me.
Are you under 6 feet?
I'm 5'11".
Oh, okay. Well, nice knowing.
Unless I am now 6 feet, I don't know.
Nice knowing you, buddy.
Yeah, I know. Fuck yeah. We'll hang ourselves after the show.
Woo!
That was like the Will Smith woo.
Speaking of corporate mascots. Speaking of DreamWorks. Speaking of Shark Tale. Took me a while to connect the dots there, but I got there.
It's like clicks to Jesus on Wikipedia.
Yeah. Perfect. Lord Farquaad is entertaining in, like, the scenes he has.
Yeah.
Just because he's kind of this campy...
And John Lithgow's great in it.
John Lithgow's phenomenal. Just this campy, evil for the sake of evil villain.
Yeah.
Fantasy Nazi. Yeah. Actually, the scenes at the beginning where, like, all the fairy tales are, like, loaded into, like, the Shrek swamp, which kind of looks like a refugee camp. That's, like, that's oddly poignant for nowadays. One thing I want to mention about Farquaad real quick, because we got to move on, is I think he does kind of begin the trend that's kind of going to be a recurring theme of the franchise of these, like, very effeminate male villains as, like, kind of laughingstocks.
Yeah.
And I think Farquaad is at its least egregious. I think it's at its most egregious with Prince Charming.
Especially in Shrek 3.
Especially in Shrek, yeah.
Because he barely does anything in Shrek 2.
Yeah. And it's where men are picked on for, not so much Farquaad, I guess. He's more picked on for his height, which is a whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
But, like, a lot of his, like, kind of more evil tendencies are also his, like, more campy, effeminate tendencies.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that more with Charming, but it's a recurring theme that I wanted to point out.
Yeah, and it's definitely kind of glaring.
I'm kind of done talking about the first Shrek.
We were talking about the first one.
Yeah.
We were talking about the first two.
Yeah.
Given the way we were talking.
Yeah. We kind of went all over the place.
I mean, if you want to talk about Prince Charming right now, we sure can. But I mean, we can save that for Shrek 3.
Let's save it for Shrek 3.
Okay.
Shrek premiered at the Cannes Film Festival.
Oh, yes, right!
Continuing the trend of movies that make me go, what the fuck, when it's revealed they premiered at the Cannes Film Festival. And it competed for the Palme d'Or.
I wish Godzilla 98 did that.
It was the first animated movie since Peter Pan to do that.
Who knew?
God, why?
If they premiered Shrek is Love, Shrek is Life there for the Palme d'Or, it would have won.
Probably. Anyway, and it was also nominated for 2 Oscars, I believe.
It was nominated for 2. One Best Animated Feature.
Yeah, beating out Monsters, Inc. and Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius.
Yeah, and then it was nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay.
Anyway, I think we've talked about the first Shrek for longer than it deserves.
Oh, yeah, but it's a wonderful movie.
It's a wonderful movie. I think it still holds up. Like, the animation is still pretty good.
Yeah,
and it's a little dated, but like it holds up.
It holds up really well, actually.
Yeah.
The animation in Shrek 2 holds up incredibly well.
Yes, I was going to say that. Like, it's a big jump, actually.
Yeah, and it's gorgeously animated.
Yeah. So we both recommend Shrek 1. Let's move on to Shrek 2.
Great, I love Shrek 2.
I love Shrek 2. So Shrek 2 was going to happen because the first Shrek made a shitload of money.
Yeah, they pretty much greenlit it right away.
Yep. And early in production, there was actually... Okay, so I took this straight from the Wikipedia page, but one of the early drafts included Shrek abdicating the throne. I don't know when he got the throne, but this is just what I read, and calling for a fairy tale election, with Pinocchio's campaign being the honesty campaign and Gingy's campaign being a smear campaign.
Boy, am I ever glad they never went with that, huh?
That sounds awful.
That sounds like Shrek the Third, kind of, actually, too.
Yeah, in some ways.
Yeah.
But, okay, so Shrek the 2... Shrek the 2? So, Shrek 2...
Well, that's definitely what, Fiona and Shrek were doing in that hot tub in the beginning montage of the movie.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah! Shrek the 2.
So much fart jokes in these movies.
And they're all funny.
Fun. I don't know. It got old after the second movie, I think.
I chuckled still. I was like...
If not earlier. So the premise of this movie is Shrek and Fiona are happily married and ogreified. They are invited by their, by Fiona's parents, the king and queen of Far, Far Away, which is kind of like fantasy Beverly Hills, I guess.
Yeah, essentially. It's Hollywood.
Hollywood, you're right. Much nicer than actual Hollywood, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And they're invited to go to a royal ball without the parents knowing that they're both ogres, which is obviously leading to some drama. They and Donkey pack up and go there, and shenanigans ensue. They meet Puss in Boots, who's voiced by Antonio Banderas.
He actually voiced Puss in Boots in a bunch of different dubs of the movie, too.
Antonio Banderas is Spanish, obviously, so he did that, but I believe...
Oh, really? I didn't think he did that.
Shut the fuck up, bitch. And he also did, I think, French and Italian, but I'm not sure.
I think he did Japanese as well.
Really?
Apparently. Hold on. I'm looking this up now. I am fairly fucking certain that Antonio Banderas did the Japanese one. Okay, so upon looking it up, it was actually in Shrek the Third where Antonio Banderas voices Puss in Boots in the English, Spanish, Mexican, Italian, and Japanese versions of the film.
Huh.
Fuck yeah. What a guy.
So we both love Shrek 2.
Yes.
It's way better at, like, integrating it's, like, way better than any other movie in the franchise. They get, like, kind of, like, integrating everything that it wants to be.
Yeah. It's really smart.
It's really smart.
It's got a lot going for it.
Apparently the filmmakers were inspired by Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. And
it's a better remake of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner than that one with Bernie Mac and Ashton Kutcher. Who knew?
Probably. Yeah. What a shocker. But
I'm sure there's about 7 people right now going, "Oh yeah, right, that happened." One of them is me.
Obviously, let's not draw the allegory too much there, because oppressed minorities are fantasy creatures is probably not the message we want people taking away from this.
No, and I mean, like, they're definitely going for that allegory.
Yeah.
Again, the idea of Fiona revealing herself as an ogre to her parents, like, that seems like an allegory for coming out to your parents.
Yes, I didn't think of that until you mentioned it, but it's very much so that.
Everything with the fairy godmother just seems to be another jab at corporate culture.
Yeah. I think it all is also, like, overall kind of less critical of corporate culture in this movie, though.
It is less critical of corporate culture in this one.
Yeah.
Like, but the first one is, like, basically the Comedy Central roast of fucking corporate culture.
Yeah. Whereas this one is more, like, accepting of it. It presents, like, this hollow pastiche of Hollywood, and it's like, this is fine. This is good. It doesn't really say anything critical about it, but I wasn't really expecting it to, and that's fine.
I love how the fairy godmother is essentially a fucking mob boss.
Oh, yeah! That was fucking weird. I like how they get into the potion shop by, like, pretending to be union members.
Yeah, that's right. We work for the union. Do you have any issues? Just turns the phone away. We don't have dental. They don't have dental.
It's probably better if the fairy godmother doesn't know we're here. Eh? Huh? Eh? Huh? Come on.
Long story short, we really like this movie.
It's a really good movie. I love Puss in Boots.
I love him too.
He's so fucking. I love Antonio Banderas and, like, all his swashbuckler roles, by which I mean Zorro in this.
Yeah.
And
all two of them.
He's just so perfect for this, mostly because he's typecast into this, and it is another thing of. They're casting Antonio Banderas. They're not casting somebody to play Puss in Boots. They're casting Antonio Banderas.
Yes.
And I'm sure they, like, drove a dumb truck of money up to his mansion and just kind of let him have at it. But he's so fun.
He's so good.
I love he's got wearing little boots.
He's a little thing with his hat.
Oh, I never get tired of that. Like, even in the shitty fucking sequels when they, like, overdo it, like, I still love it.
Also, this is the last time they used Donkey appropriately in this franchise.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Maybe the last movie in which Eddie Murphy was appropriately used.
Actually, Dreamgirls. He did get nominated for that Oscar.
Was that after?
That was 2006.
Okay.
That was right around when Norbit came out.
Oh, shit.
Norbit,
Okay,
guys?
yeah. Okay, well, then we have a waypoint, folks. The Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
I thought you were gonna say Guess Who's Coming to Disney.
Jesus, the Guess Who's
Jeffrey Katzenberg.
I wonder how involved he was in this one. But anyway, the Guess Who's Coming to Dinner allegory is, I think, most, like, palpable during the dinner scene.
Oh, and it's so well edited, that dinner scene.
It's so funny too. Like,
it's so funny. It's
funny
so
and
tense.
Yes.
And it's so well edited.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I'd say it's the best editing of the franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, not like there's a lot of competition.
No, not really, but
oh dear God, like, even, like, them, like, walking up towards each other right before the dinner scene, like, that moment is so well edited.
So funny.
That was so good.
I keep forgetting how fucking funny it was. Yeah. Like, as funny as the first Shrek movie is, it still has a lot of, like, kind of hit and miss moments.
Yeah.
This is, like, just good joke after good joke after good joke after good joke.
Yeah, basically. I think the only one that misses was the one about the wolf in
oh yeah,
that one kind of misses.
Yeah, that's, in retrospect, that one's pretty not cool.
Yeah, we'll go with not cool.
Yeah, which
kind of fucking sucks.
Yeah. Well, not cool is being very generous with it, I think. Oh fuck, another good scene. We're not just gonna keep, like, saying scenes that we like, but where they have the king in the carriage with fairy godmother and Prince Charming.
How do they stop at the fucking Burger King or whatever? Can I get a medieval meal?
That was fucking hilarious. And they give him, like, an axe as, like, a happy meal.
He's got the little cute crown. He's like 25.
This is also the only movie where Prince Charming is funny.
Yeah,
it's because he's just this conceited fucking douche with an overblown expectation of himself,
and he also acts like he's like 6.
Yeah, he's a total man child.
Yeah, he is a complete fucking baby boy.
Yeah. Jennifer Saunders is great as the fairy godmother.
Wonderful.
I think she's my favorite, like, Shrek villain.
Oh yeah, by far, because she's actually awful.
Yeah, she's, like, awful and just this petty, like, Hollywood diva type of person.
She's really charming, though.
Yeah, she
very
is.
charismatic.
Yeah, definitely. But she also feels like actually like somewhat dangerous.
Yes.
Because she clearly has a lot of pull.
And she clearly has a lot of issues.
Yeah, a lot of issues. She's got a compulsive need for power.
Yeah, she's a fucking egomaniac.
She's clearly fucked up her son something awful.
Oh, yeah.
And warped the king as well. But yeah, another thing it just occurred to me about this movie is they use the supporting cast, like, this is the last time the supporting cast is like used in a way that isn't kind of just grating. Like like Gingy and the wolf and the mice and Pinocchio and whatnot.
Yeah.
This is the last time where they aren't annoying to me. And speaking of which, like, I think I also like them a lot because of the Shrek 2 video game that came out.
Oh yeah, right.
I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember that.
That was a lot of fun. Like more than any like video game version of a kids movie like should be. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's weird that Gingy got as much play in that movie, but
in that movie?
Yeah, in that game, sorry. He was like the default fourth character at the beginning.
Yeah.
Have we talked enough about Shrek 2?
I think so. We're pretty far into this episode that I think we should take a little intermission.
All right, let's do it.
Well, first let's recommend Shrek 2.
I recommend Shrek 2. Do you recommend Shrek 2?
What the fuck is a Shrek 2? Yes, I recommend Shrek 2.
Okay, good. I was really worried there for a second. Like, you seemed really confused, and I just wanted to make sure you're okay.
All right, we'll be back right after these messages from nobody. Welcome back to the show.
Did you enjoy all that sweet, nourishing nothing? Anyway, Shrek 2 is also at Cannes for some reason, because that festival doesn't mean anything. It also made a shitload of money.
So guess what?
A third one was made. And it's called Shrek the Third.
Or as I like to call it, Shrek the Turd.
Oh, shit!
How will they ever recover?
So Shrek the Third has Prince Charming back as the titular villain, avenging his mother's death, the fairy godmother. And it also the king dies, and Shrek is supposed to take over the kingdom, but he doesn't want to. So he has to go find like a distant cousin of Fiona's to become king, and that cousin is he's a 16-year-old kid voiced by Justin Timberlake, and also Fiona's pregnant. This movie is all over the place and really bad.
You know, this is one of many sequels that came out in 2007 that could have been really good, but because it's too much of everything, it fucking sucks. Spider-Man 3. Shrek the Third, Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. They all end in 3.
That's true. 3's a bad number. So Shrek the Third is bad. It's really bad. I also saw this one quite a bit as a kid, and it's incredibly boring. First of all,
I saw it when I was 10.
Yeah.
And guess what? I hated it ever since I was 10.
I was probably... Wait, how old was I?
You know, in 2007, so 10 or 11.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Did not like it then, do not like it now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it even less now.
You know how annoying it was to listen to Donkey just act like Donkey?
Like, like, Eddie Murphy's shtick is way past its expiration date at this point.
I think the problem is Eddie Murphy had, like, nothing to work with.
Well, I mean, especially that, but, like, when he has nothing to work with, he's fucking annoying. He's so fucking annoying.
Don't ever make that man sing Cats in the Cradle ever again.
Oh, God, please.
And fuck them for ruining the Immigrant Song.
Yes, that too. They introduce a lot of characters that don't add up to anything.
You know, that movie made me embarrassed to like classic rock.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the Shrek franchise in general. But the best artists that they reference in this are probably Leonard Cohen and the Buzzcocks. It's so irritating. All the skeleton from the first Shrek movie and kind of the second one are there in the third one. But
in terms of their Shrek, Fiona, Donkey, Puss in Boots.
And shenanigans. And also fairy tale shit. But it sucks. It sucks so hard.
It's so terrible.
Like, the new characters they add amount to nothing.
Oh, yeah. Justin Timberlake as Arthur is incredibly boring.
Yeah, I can't pick up a
I mean, Justin Timberlake's not a bad actor or anything. He's great in The Social Network.
He's a super talented man.
And he's incredibly weird in this movie called Southland Tales. Have I ever told you about it?
I think you have.
Okay, there's this great scene in Southland Tales where Justin Timberlake has this like weird fucking vision or something where he's in like what looks like a bowling alley / arcade. And there's a bunch of like nurses in skimpy outfits that are backup dancers for him as he's lip syncing the Killers, all these things that I've done.
That sounds very strange.
And he's got blood all over his fucking white shirt. It's fucking insane.
That sounds interesting.
And he's like drugged out of his mind.
I want to watch this.
It's really, really fucking weird, and I don't know what I think of it yet. And I've seen it once. I remember my parents walked in when I was watching it, and they were just like, "What the fuck is this?" I was like, I don't know.
Back to Shrek the Third. Back to Shrek the Third.
No. Back to Southland Tales.
No. We gotta power through this. As painful as it is to talk about this movie. Anyway, they introduce a bunch of like the princesses from the fairy tales and Disney stuff, like Snow White, Cinderella, Rapunzel, and it kind of feels like, and Sleeping Beauty, and it kind of feels like they're trying to go back into like the thing of
what if women but fighters?
What if women but fighters? Yeah, and that's boring as shit.
Yeah, like I think
it's really hacky attempts to inject feminism.
Yeah, like I think the Disney movie Tangled. It's amazing how Tangled did this so much better.
Yeah, no kidding.
Anyway, so as I was saying about Tangled, so
no. And they bring him in for like no reason. They have no discernible reason for being there other than to show, hey, what a fairy tale, but and it's like so indicative of how like out of ideas the writers are at this point.
Oh fuck yeah, for sure.
Shrek is like there's really no like new ground to go with this character.
There's no like thematic direction they're really going with this. A lot of it just seems like basic messages, and like nothing can be really read into in an allegorical sense.
Yeah, like I guess one of the themes that it's trying to go for is Shrek coming into his own as a father.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That fucking nightmare scene, which is probably the scariest Father's Day movie since Eraserhead.
Probably. It seems like they're building up to something like that, but they like reference it in the beginning of the second act, and they don't mention it again until the very end of the third act, and it's supposed to like, oh, when did he grow to be a father? Like,
yeah, he didn't grow at all.
There was
it
kind
just
of
kind of happened.
There was kind of a hint at it interacting with Artie, but like very, very faintly.
It's very minor.
Yeah. Arthur's supposed to learn how to be a king. I don't fucking see that. Before we like wrap it up with Shrek the Third, I think we need to
talk about Prince Charming.
Talk about Prince Charming, and I think about this franchise's attitude towards gender non-conforming characters.
Yes.
Because it's not great for like probably I didn't really notice it much in the fourth one that I remember, but definitely in the first three movies, it's got a pretty reactionary attitude towards them. Like between Lord Farquaad being like this campy, effeminate guy who's also short, and then Prince Charming being this very effeminate man baby who like, oh, he likes girly drinks, laugh at him.
Did they do anything? Again, like my memory of Shrek Forever After is bad, and even if I watched it in preparation for this, it would still be bad.
Rumpelstiltskin is like the least egregious of these I see. He's just kind of a boring villain.
Yeah, he's a really boring villain. I remember, like they just did nothing with him.
But he is kind of also a bit effeminate and campy, and also on the reverse end, you have the ugly stepsisters.
Oh yeah,
and that's it is like a very chauvinist attitude of everything that isn't manly man or stereotypical woman is weird and to be derided and mocked. And they make that joke in the second movie about Pinocchio wearing women's underwear.
Yes.
And
forgot about that till now.
It's a running theme. I'm surprised how running of a theme it was, like upon a rewatch.
Yeah, now that you think about it.
It does leave a kind of a bad taste in my mouth.
Yes.
And I think it's important to point that out, like, because this is a problem even in like the two movies that we liked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was important to mention it out because it is kind of it's a very hacky trope, and I do see it less often now, but probably not as less often as I'd like.
Yes. Now that we're done with Shrek the Third, would you recommend it? No. Actually, it's awful. Now we're gonna move on to our next and final film of this thing.
Pokemon Primate Problems. Ash is trying for the Marsh Badge, but ghost Pokemon are Ash's only hope for defeating Sabrina. Unfortunately, that
means... Teenage Witch?
I think that was actually probably what they were referencing when they localized your character. Unfortunately, that means that Ash has to convince a free-spirited and practical joke-loving Haunter Pokemon to help. Will the joke be on Ash? Plus, Ash comes face-to-face with a fighting Pokemon with an attitude problem. Mankey!
Anyway, so tell us a little bit about our next movie, Chain of Command.
Starring Michael Dudikoff, whoever the fuck that is. Michael Dudikoff's in the Middle East, and danger is everywhere. Oh boy. Lots of people stand between where Meryl Ross is and where he wants to go. A death squad blows an oil depot out from under him. Agents shadow him like a poison cloud. Soldiers rain a steel hail of bullets on him. Ross is the man in the middle of a savage tug of war, and he has a few words for everyone involved. They've taken their best shot. Now he's taking his. The star, who was a Desert Storm Marine in the Human Shield, whatever the fuck that is, comes on like a storm again in Chain of Command. Michael Dudikoff portrays anti-terrorist operative Ross. Ross is like the default name for like spook douchebags.
No, Cannon was just a big fan of Friends at the time.
In this explosive saga of a plot to take over oil-rich Kumir, well, at least they're honest about it. Behind the attempt could be the CIA, QLI, QSS, what the fuck are or any number of groups known only by... Oh, okay, Kumir is fictional. Or any number of groups known only by alphabetical shorthand and Sun 4.
Get ready for it.
But it's Ross who teaches them the ABCs of action. Fucking king. Woo! It's awesome, dude.
Please tell me we're doing a one-off on that one day.
Probably not.
Ah, fuck!
So Shrek Forever After
is boring.
It's boring. This is the plot, folks. It's actually surprisingly like
convoluted.
Convoluted, yeah, but like also not the typical cash grab sequel plot I found.
No.
Shrek and Fiona are married and have kids, and Shrek is going through, I guess, a midlife crisis, whatever. And he makes a deal with Rumpelstiltskin to trade a day in his life so that he can live as a scary ogre once again, because he feels like he's, I guess, emasculated.
Powerful of that recurring thing.
There is powerful divorced guy energy coming from this movie. Of course, the day he trades away is the day he was born. So now he's in a world where she never existed. So there's like an ogre resistance to the king Rumpelstiltskin, because Rumpelstiltskin is king of Far, Far Away. Pretty surprisingly convoluted. You're right. Also bad. It's a bad movie.
It's a very bad movie.
I don't think it's as bad as Shrek the Third. I think it has a little more going for it.
I think the problem with Shrek Forever After is it's incredibly mediocre, given that it was marketed as the final chapter in the Shrek saga.
Yeah, it's really the best thing that I can say about this movie is it is mediocre.
Yeah,
like I think it is. The humor is not as bad as Shrek the Third in the sense that it's merely bad, but I did get some laughs out of it, even if I can't remember any of them.
Like, I think what makes Shrek and Shrek 2 so goddamn good is that they take, like, really corny, cheesy puns and, like, they really play on a lot of words and stuff. And it's, like, shockingly well written.
Yeah.
Like, the whole point where Fiona's like, where are you going? I gotta go save my ass.
Yeah.
Like, lines like that are, like, really, really funny.
Yeah, it just comes across as, like, clever wordplay by
Shrek.
It's
clever wordplay in Shrek. And it's, like, really, really well written clever wordplay. In Shrek 3, that doesn't really exist. In Shrek Forever After,
I feel like they're trying a little.
They're trying a little harder, but
it's not quite there. John Hamm is in this movie. I just remembered that he's one of the ogres who like is one of the Resistance.
Oh,
and he doesn't have anything to do. He's barely in the movie.
He's probably just there for the check, collected his check, and went, all right, back to Mad Men.
Yeah.
Wait, John Hamm was in Mad Men, right?
At this point, probably. This was like 2010, 2011.
I'm trying to remember who the fuck I'm talking about.
Rumpelstiltskin is incredibly boring as a villain. Like, I like some of his animation and his expressions, but like he's not witty or funny.
No, not really. He's just kind of there.
He's a villain for Shrek to go up against. It could have been anybody. They're just picking and choosing fantastical figures to use at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I do like some of the jokes around Puss in Boots, but I guess it does mostly boil down to fat guy is fat.
Yeah.
So that's whatever. Eddie Murphy is overused again. Okay, so there's a scene at the beginning where Shrek is like harried at his kid's birthday party, and there's like this guy who like walks by with his son. He's like, "My son's a huge fan. Can you do an ogre roar?" And the son's only line is, "Do the roar!" And they just repeat that. I don't know if it like if I thought it was actually funny or if it's because it grew on me via some form of short-term Stockholm syndrome because I keep fucking doing it. The third and fourth Shrek movies kind of remind me of like bad episodes of Family Guy, but G-rated in the sense that they're just like references to other shit.
Yep.
They're either references to stuff in real life or references to the other movies. And there's decreasing returns as they go along.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's
like we kind of alluded to at the beginning, like Shrek at least ain't set out in the first movie, regardless of whether it succeeded or not. It tried to.
It's set out to be subversive and parody,
and a parody of like the ultra corporate Disney movies at the time. And as the movies got raked in more and more money, they became more and more absolutely toothless.
And they became more and more corporate.
Yeah.
Because around this point, there was also a shitload of Shrek Halloween, or holiday specials in general.
Yep.
Like Shrek the Halls, Scared Shrekless. There was even a Shrek Universal ride called Shrek 4D, which was released on DVD as Shrek 3D, the best Shrek movie ever made.
And there's also the Puss in Boots movie that came out.
Right.
Which we did
every time
watch.
Someone reminds me of that movie, I fucking forgot that movie existed.
Yeah.
Nick reminds me of it, and then you reminded me of it just now, because I forgot. Nick reminded me of it yesterday. And then I just forgot the movie existed, and you're like, oh yeah, they made a Puss in Boots movie, and in my mind I'm going, oh shit, right, they did.
I heard it's pretty good, too.
Yeah, I've heard it's okay.
Yeah, like, probably better than the third and fourth Shrek movies.
Oh, most likely.
Yeah, I think the more movies that happened, the more that it became they became regarded as a financial investment that they needed to make safer and safer. Because as better as Shrek 2 is compared to Shrek 1, like, it is a safer movie.
It is a safer movie.
Like, it does have mature themes, but they're like kind of hidden under more layers than the first one, where they kind of
said layers again.
God damn it! But where because the first one like kind of wore its occasional swear word on its sleeves.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my thesis on Shrek. What about you? What's yours?
I mean, the complete same camp as you.
Okay.
I think that as Shrek has gone on, because I think Shreks 1 and 2 are definitely... They're bold movies, I would say. They're very bold and satirical and clever, and they have things they want to say about the world we live in and the media we consume.
Mm-hmm. Regardless of whether they hit those marks, they do have things on their minds.
They do have things on their minds, and I think they work. Shrek 3 and 4 are basically just the dictionary definition of corporate product.
Yep, the third one is straight up trash. The fourth one
is mediocre.
The best and worst thing I could say about it is that it's painfully mediocre.
It's mediocre and half-assed and lazy.
Uh-huh.
And
the animation is good, though.
Oh, the animation's good.
Yeah,
like, we're not shitting on the animators. We're talking about, like, in terms of content.
Yeah.
Like, they're empty, soulless products.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of amazing to see that the franchise went from, being this bold statement on corporate to becoming the new corporate norm.
And now it's a meme. And
I wonder, because, like, fuck, Shrek was everywhere in the way that the Minions are everywhere now.
Yeah.
And that's now true. It's just a fucking meme. I wonder if that's going to happen to the Minions, too, where they just... Minions is love, Minions is life.
I think, well, I mean, maybe not literally that, but I think the Minions are memeified at this point.
Well, I think that they're, like, used in, like, those really, like, shitty, like, not memes, but, like, quote pictures you see where it's just some stupid line that someone posts on Facebook and then your parents share it and you're like...
I've mostly seen parodies of that, actually. But, yeah.
Mine's seeing some parodies of that, actually.
So... I guess they were originally supposed to, like... We don't recommend Shrek Forever After.
Also, so speaking of Minions, I guess they're remaking Shrek at Illumination now?
At Illumination?
I think so,
okay,
yeah.
So...
Or rebooting it, sorry.
Okay, so... Shrek was apparently, according to Jeffrey Katzenberg, conceived as, like, a 5-episode franchise. Bullshit. But, like, after the fourth one, we've heard, like, next to nothing about a fifth one.
Basically, yeah.
Like, at least one that continues the story.
Well, and good for them, considering they were marketing Shrek Forever After as the final chapter.
Yeah. Recently, we've heard things about a revival, and I'm not hearing anything about Illumination, well, at least not on this Wikipedia page, but they are apparently trying to get that going. Eddie Murphy is mentioned here. I don't know if it's because he's involved or not, but he did apparently confirm that the film was expected to be released in 2019 or 2020. Well, this was back in 2016.
Okay, so according to Polygon, Shrek and Puss in Boots will be rebooted by Minion Studio. Shrek reboot in the works, overseen by Illumination boss. Despicable Me producer wants to reboot Shrek. Like, this is all from November 2018.
Okay, so relatively recent.
It looks like if we are getting a Shrek reboot, it's going to be from Illumination.
Okay.
Fuck.
With the original cast potentially returning.
No, I'm
not on board. No. I don't care to watch it.
Oh, imagine a Shrek reboot that makes fun of the Disney live action remakes.
Is it live action?
Takes the piss out of Bob Iger.
It's just Mike Myers slathered in green.
No, it's like no. It's still like CGI and everything, but they're like, look, we're live action now. No, Shrek, it's CGI. You fucking idiot.
And you just see like Lord Farquaad actually morph into Michael Eisner before your very eyes.
No, he morphs into Bob Iger.
Bob Iger, you're right. I think that kind of the promise of Shrek has kind of been like run into the ground.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's that much stories you can tell with this character.
I think it's time to just let it die.
Yeah. I think there are much like smarter avenues to criticize Disney from than from another corporate animation studio, which DreamWorks is at this point.
Yeah.
And it always was that. Like, despite the first Shrek movie, it always was that, but especially nowadays when it has not only the Shrek, but also Madagascar and Dragons franchises under its belt.
Yeah. I think they're gonna be fine.
Yeah. I guess that's where we land. Like, I don't want to see any more Shrek stuff.
I think I'm done, yeah.
Yeah. We have wiped our hands of this.
This was actually, we
Much
were actually requested to do this episode, too.
Yeah, this was our first request episode, I believe.
And it was from a friend of mine.
We have fulfilled our debt. To quote Puss in Boots. Repaid the debt.
Repaid the debt, yes.
Yeah. And we'll just do the Puss in Boots eyes at the mic for a good 30 minutes. Okay, Chris. Lead us out.
Okay, so we got a longer lead out this time.
Yay!
So, follow us on Twitter at Decay Sequel.
Mm-hmm.
You can also like us on Facebook. We're just at Sequel Decay there.
Mm-hmm.
Check out our Patreon if you want to give us actual money. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but any little bit helps. That way we can get better mics, we can get, better equipment, we can even get ourselves paid. If we do this full time.
Ideally,
yeah, we can get ourselves paid and we can do this full time. That'd be great. Because I actually enjoy doing this.
Yeah,
and the amount of work we put into this, it might as well be a fucking
a job. Like, you know how many, late nights I've spent watching fucking movies and stopping to take notes?
Well, it took me, 6.5 hours to upload everything to Anchor, right?
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you, basically tell your internet, guess what we're doing today, bitch? It's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
But, anyway, so, yeah, you can, so if you want to support us on Patreon, if you feel we deserve that, I mean, I don't know if we do, but...
Anyway, bitch and moan. But
any little bit helps.
Yeah.
And you are either watching this on YouTube or you're listening to you're either listening to this on YouTube or Google Podcasts or Anchor or Spotify or iTunes. God, that was nice to say.
Yeah.
That was so nice to say.
Oh, thank God.
I guess before we go, since we just did our big plugs, I guess we should talk about how we're not going to be on SoundCloud for sure.
No, we're not going to be on SoundCloud for the foreseeable future.
The account is going to be deleted either before this episode comes out or probably a little bit after, just whenever I get off my ass to do it.
Yeah.
But if you want to support us if you want to know where we're being hosted at, it's Anchor. We love them. I don't think we have any sponsorships with them, so we don't have anything to really plug.
But we like them.
Yeah, we're very happy. We're very happy with the quality of the site.
We really like them.
Fuck you and your Sally Field references. Again, what's gonna happen with the YouTube channel at this point? It's up in the air.
Yeah, we're
gonna still keep releasing the episodes on there because we're a little worried about alienating audiences. And if we do end up deleting the YouTube channel, you guys will know weeks in advance.
Yeah. We are considering, although we don't have anything planned for the foreseeable future, but we do have a YouTube exclusive stuff, at least germinating, but nothing that we're even close to being ready to announce.
I mean, I don't even think we may not even have YouTube.
We may not
exclusive content.
It's early enough that we don't even know if anything's going to happen.
This is how early it was. It was literally just me on the phone with you going, "Hey, what if we just did some YouTube exclusive content?" And you went, "Oh,
yeah."
That's how early into the game this is. It's just
we're at the point where it could happen, but it's just way too early to say anything for sure.
Yes. Also, a logo is being worked on as we speak.
Yep.
Thank you to my partner Nick Zemlak for helping us out with that. And fuck, what else? You see, there's that.
Thank you to our apparently deceased co-host Brandon Pollock for working on intro music.
He is working on intro music. We just need to get it from him. And there's also going to be another lead-in we're doing with it. It's going to be really fun. And yeah, I think that's all the big updates. It's a lot of updates.
A lot of updates. I think that was longer than the actual episode.
We've just been here for
5 hours!
5 hours of us going, oh, and we've got this coming. Like, if there's one thing I will say about being on Anchor, it's that I'm glad that we're not limited to YouTube now.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's going to give us more of an audience now because, like, trust me, for about the last 20 weeks, we all agreed with you that YouTube is not the proper place to be putting podcasts.
Yeah.
It's just that $180 a year for SoundCloud is a lot of fucking money for us when we're paying rent, paying for school, paying for other shit.
Yeah.
And none of us were able to shell out our even ends.
Paying for fucking movie tickets so we can do this show.
Exactly. Paying for fucking movie tickets out of pocket, like paying for the mics, paying for everything. You know, again, completely out of pocket. So... yeah, like, we obviously couldn't afford it, so we're glad that Anchor was able to exist.
It definitely is, like, a weight off our minds.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it gives us more reach as a podcast, and now we can actually get more listeners, and now we can get more people to actually tune in. People can listen to our offensive rants in the car now. We're glad that we're on Anchor. We're glad that we're on iTunes and all that. That didn't take very long, either.
No. Like, just a...
couple days.
Yep.
Took a couple days for everything to get off the ground, and a lot of that was because I just pushed to get it done right away, because I just wanted to get it over and done with, and I also wanted to try to time it with the release of the Unbreakable episode, but that just never happened.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do?
At least the Unbreakable episode got out first, and then anyone who wanted to listen to it after. Also, we have been getting a decent amount of hits in the last few days on our Anchor stuff. We've been actually keeping an eye on that.
Really?
So thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until now. That's
yeah,
good.
we're actually doing really well on there.
Oh, good.
So, well for us.
Okay.
So thank you so much for listening to us. As always, keep supporting us, keep sharing us, keep giving us love, keep giving us support. Because God knows we need it. Give us another dislike too, fucker. Yeah, we saw that. We fucking saw that, bitch. Whoever did that, you fucking asshole.
I will fucking comfort you. I will ruin
You'll comfort them?
I will ruin your fucking life.
You're gonna comfort them?
No, I like comfort them. Like, no. Well, if they need it.
yeah,
Maybe.
Yeah.
They've got nothing else going on with their lives, apparently, if they're hunting out down people who say bad things about Lion King and disliking their fucking YouTube videos.
Well, I don't know
Kyle!
I don't know if it's anyone who's actually, like, deliberately mad because of the Disney thing, but I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
But either way.
I think, like I said in the Lion King episode...
Who are you gonna believe? Fucking our 25 subscribers, or not 25, our 15 subscribers and 25 followers on Twitter and shit? Or are you gonna believe one troll behind a keyboard? Gotti, now playing in theaters. Do you remember that fucking marketing campaign?
Yes, I know what you're talking about. What a fucking king of a movie. What a dog shit fucking movie.
I've never seen it.
I've seen a bit of it.
I've heard that, like, there's a scene where John Travolta goes, yeah, you know that movie you like, the spaghetti and meatballs one, or something like that?
He does.
He does?
Something along
I
those
really
lines.
want to see it now.
I my favorite part is like when they talk about the 5 boroughs of New York. It's like Staten Island, Brooklyn, Manhattan. I don't fucking know, Queens, Harlem, or whatever. I don't know what the 5th one is.
Okay.
With the Bronx. That's it. You put them together, you got a fist.
And it was directed by the guy who played E in Entourage.
It's fucking terrible. Okay, we've been talking about, like, not podcast shit forever. We should probably,
Okay, I think it's time to go, but we're gonna keep all that in.
Yeah, probably.
Thank you so much for listening to the show. Please keep supporting us, even though we've done Shrek already.
Yep.
And good night.
Immediately lose all our subscribers. Good night, folks.
This is the series finale.
We will now commit ritual suicide.
Whee! Good night, everyone.
Good night. Go home, folks.